Hi, my name is Kylie Blacksell and welcome to the Human Happiness video tutorial on New Year's resolutions, how to make them stick. If you're watching this video, you've most likely made a New Year's resolution maybe this year or maybe in recent years, and you've quite likely not seen it stick. Or maybe you've just repeated your resolution again this year from what you resolved last year. The sad news is that less than 1 in 10 of us who actually make a New Year's resolution are successful. So you're definitely not alone if you're one of those people. And your resolution might be anything from wanting to lose weight or quit smoking or to get fit or to clean up your house, declutter, to maybe get that new job, get that new boyfriend, that new girlfriend, or to maybe travel or something like that. So it doesn't really matter what the resolution is. If it's only a conscious decision, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, then what happens is it doesn't usually come to fruition. It needs to be a lot deeper than on the conscious level to actually make it stick, and that's what I'm here to show you today. There's 4 crucial pre-resolution steps that you can follow that are really simple, that can allow you to actually successfully resolve your New Year's resolution. So I'm going to take you through those today. The first step is to actually take a really close look at what is actually at the root of your bad habit or your addiction that you're trying to get rid of, or your procrastination for wanting to go overseas, or whatever it is that you've decided to resolve. And you can, and every single addiction, bad habit or lack of motivation to do something actually has a code, and if you can decipher that code, you could read books and decipher that code. You could come to a therapist like myself and decipher the code of your lack of moving forward with that resolution. You can actually find out what's behind it, what's at the root of it, the very base of it that's stopping you from moving forward. Like chocoholics, for instance, they essentially crave chocolate, and they're craving love as a result. Well, not as a result, but as a cause. So they're somewhere early in their life, they've craved love and the love wasn't there, and so they're filling the gap with chocolate. If you're craving carbs, you're craving comfort and affection. If you're craving salty foods, then you're probably really frustrated and angry about something. And that's just a few examples, and it's very, very general, but it can actually be quite specific to the combination of things that you're doing that are what you're not wanting to be doing anymore. So the first step in the pre-resolution steps is to actually decode what's actually going on with that addiction or that bad habit, and understand that it is the reason why you're stuck with this addiction or bad habit or lack of moving forward with something is because you're having a lack of peace of mind around something from your past, from your childhood, from your early adolescence. And what you're doing at the moment is not in alignment with your soul's purpose, with your soul's desires. So that's the first step. The second step is to have a look at, do you really think that you deserve to have this resolution resolved? So having a close look at your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-love. Again, if you're in front of a therapist, they'll be able to tell you pretty quickly how good your self-esteem and self-love is. Another way to do it is to actually look at your closest friends and family members that you hang out with the most. What's their self-talk? Do they talk themselves up? Do they come from a place of love? Do they come from a place of high self-esteem? Or do they second-guess themselves all the time? Do they put themselves down? If you're hanging around them, if you've attracted them, then that's probably about where you're at. It may not be obvious to you, but the self-talk of the 5 people that are closest to you, the average of that self-talk is going to be your self-talk that you may not even be aware of. So that's one way to work out what that's all about. Step number 3 is, what's your true motivation for the resolution? And the reason why most resolutions actually don't become successful is because we're trying to achieve them because of trying to achieve external outcomes. So it's motivated by fear. We're actually doing our resolution for something outside of ourselves. Okay, so we want to lose weight because we want to look good, we want to get that job, or we want to get that boyfriend, or we want our family to accept us, we want to belong to something, we want to feel loved, for example. And that's actually going to basically make the resolution doomed from the beginning. And the change has to come from inside of ourselves, from a place of self-love, self-worth, and self-esteem, and for doing it for us so that we feel fantastic, not for anybody else. And so letting go of this need to please others is basically step number 3. Step number 4 is looking at the energetic removal of the blockages that have actually also been a part of this this stuckness that you have with this resolution. There are 5 levels, body levels in your body or around your body. There's the physical one, which is the base one, which is actually your physical body. There's the energetic, which we often talk about with the chakras and your aura and things like that. There's the mental and emotional, and there's the intellectual and the blissful. And so really you want to actually work on all of those koshas. You want it to actually to filter through all of those levels, those energy levels in your body and around your body that makes up you and your soul, basically. And so I often talk about the triad of healing, and just in brief, what I mean by that is we don't just intellectually talk about it like we did in point number 1 and actually work out what's the root of your addiction or your bad habit, the thing that you're trying to resolve. It's very good to do that. That's step 1. That's what you need to do. You need to find out what's the motivation behind that. Why is your ego stopping you from actually achieving this? The second part is to actually reprogram your ego, your subconscious, which is just a younger version of yourself. It's a child or an adolescent version of yourself who's scared, who's fearful of making that change, or doesn't think he or she is worthy of making that change. And so we reprogram that using affirmation recordings. You can definitely record your own recordings and play them at night time as you're about to go to sleep, or I'm quite happy to provide you with those recordings as well that are tailored specifically to your numerology and also to your cravings or whatever it is that you're dealing with. That's the second part of the healing triad. The third part is the energetic release. So I use Reiki when I do the energetic release. You can definitely use things like Reiki. You can go to someone, a Reiki practitioner. You can get shiatsu massage. You can get cranial sacral therapy, acupuncture, things like that. So that's the fourth part. And then once you've done those 4 steps, you can actually work on your resolution. So if it's as simple as that and relatively cost effective as that, why isn't everybody doing it? The reason why people don't successfully do their New Year's resolutions or come and get healing is because they're afraid. They're afraid of change. Their ego doesn't want the change because they're attached to something. They may be attached to a person, so it's like, oh, if I do these changes and make these changes, I'm probably not going to want to be with that person anymore, so I'm not going to make the changes because I'm too scared of losing that person. There may be an attachment to objects, to financial things. So of course, often when people heal, they let go of a lot of objects. I mean, if you end up leaving your partner or your husband or wife, obviously that can mean a money or a financial situation. And also being attached to a way of being, because that way of being has kept them safe for all of this time as well, or a situation, or or being able to blame somebody else. So that's why people avoid actually making these steps. But if you're ready, if you feel that you're done with all of this stuckness and avoidance, and you really want to make those steps, have a look at those 4 steps again, and take a close look at what's really going on at the root of your addiction, your bad habit, or your lack of motivation to actually achieve something. And you'll find that it comes from childhood, it comes from adolescence, and it can very easily be shifted out of the way so that you can actually achieve your New Year's resolution. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and I wish you all the best with your New Year's resolution. I'd love to hear your feedback or any questions that you have. Thank you. Bye-bye.